African teams have an advantage going into the World Cup. African teams definitely have an advantage going into the World Cup. And, when I say African teams, you guys already know I'm specifically speaking about the black African teams who made the World Cup of Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana. Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana, they're lucky. They're lucky because since they're in Africa, they get to play against the North African nations, for World Cup qualifications. Cameroon played against Algeria. Algeria is a North African nation. In the World Cup qualifications, Senegal played Egypt. Egypt is a North African nation. And in the African Cup of Nations, Cameroon played Algeria. And also in that same African Cup of Nations, Senegal played the final against Egypt. So, Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana, they're used to playing against North African nations since they're all in Africa. And North African nations play very organized football. North African nations are very organized, technical, and tactical. North African teams are very technical and tactical as well. Especially defensively. North African teams are extremely defensive. In the African Cup of Nations, Nigeria played against Tunisia. This past African Cup of Nations, Nigeria lost to Tunisia and got eliminated from the African Cup of Nations. And Tunisia just put on a defensive display against Nigeria, shut down Nigeria completely. Tunisia totally demolished Nigeria's wings in that game. The wingers, Samuel Chukwueze and Moses Simon, they're quality wingers, but that Tunisian North African defense just shut them down. North Africans are strong. They're very physical, and they have great tactical defensive knowledge. They know what angles to defend, to get to the ball. The great on-ball defenders, that can tackle the ball away from you. That the physicality and the strength to shut you down from certain parts of the field, They're so aggressive, fast. They're very fast too. North African players are very fast. So I'll say, man, in my opinion, North African teams have the best defense in the world. They have better defense than European nations. Especially like the nations like England, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, and Morocco, have better defense than those big European names that name countries that I just listed. North African defense is very organized, maybe even more organized than European defenses. And, I'm not knocking European defenses. European defenses are technical, tactical, and very organized as well. But that North African defense is just on another level. And aside from the organization of North African defenses are also, North African defenders are also very aggressive and strong. They can bully you off the ball. European defenders aren't going to like bully you off the ball, and just shut you off certain parts of the field. European defenses are not that aggressive. North African players are a little stronger than European players physically. So Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana have had the opportunity to play against some of the best North African defenses. Senegal, Cameroon, and Ghana have been blessed to have played against some of the best defenses in the world, of the North African teams. So, when African teams, when the African teams in the World Cup go against the European squads and South American squads, they're going to have an easy time penetrating, that South American and European defense because they've already are used to playing against the most compact defenses and aggressive defenses in the world of the North African teams. So they're going to see these other teams' defense as a piece of cake at the World Cup. So, and then the African, even aside from North African teams, the Sub-Saharan Black African teams, they play very good defense as well. A lot of the Black African teams are beginning to have more compact defense, and organized defense, and the Black African teams are very physical as well. So, African teams, man, they're used to going against very defensive teams. So that's an advantage they have going into the World Cup. Where are you guys? Peace.